and welcome. Jane here, one of the Indigo Blue design team, and we're going to have some fun today playing with some of the newish products. So Spring is Sprung, beautiful paper pack, 24 designs, and you've got half old, half new, if you see what I mean. So I've used some of them, but you've got traditional pictures on one side and then you've got modern compositions on the other side. So it covers so much. If you look on here, those are both modern ones. If I flip that side over, you've got the traditional landscapes. So really fun, and I thought I'd show you a way to make them go even further because they're beautiful. Yes, you can buy 2 packs, but they are... I need to get another trimmer out actually, because these are a good 8 by 8, and I say a good 8 by 8 because they are classed as being 8 by 8, but in reality they're a generous 8 by 8. So you need to, if you want them precise, you need to cut them, which gives you obviously a bit of extra. So for example, I cut this one and you've got a good 1/4 of an inch more. So let's cut this down to 8 by 8 to start off with. So need my 8 inches. Eyesight, you have to make sure you get it in the right place. Okay, so if I cut that down, so you can see when I say it's a generous 8 inches. And these I always save because I use the little scraps for things. Let's turn it this way and take that down to 8, so we've got it precise. So you can see they are a generous 8 by 8. So you get a good, what's that? It's over 1/4 of an inch more. So, you know, you've got nice little scraps to do bits and pieces with. Now we're going to cut it down at 4 inches. So we're going to take it at 4 inches, take that down the middle, so in half again. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to cut it in 4 inches again. So we've made ourselves 4 pieces that we can use for centerpieces on cards, focal points, add-on pieces. But rather than having them in strips and things, it gives you, and the interesting thing is, we'll have a look at them. Let me just move this out of the way. So the interesting thing about this is that you have got, if you look at the panels, so we've got this piece where you've got the lovely piece of fence on here and you've got a bit of tree. That would make a lovely centerpiece on a card. So if I take a, let me have a look and do a square card. So let me just get some square cards out, which will be in, not in that one, in the next one down. Let me find a square card. Here we go. So this is a square blank, and I would put a, so this is just under 6 by 6. If I put that with a, let's take a piece like this, you've got a mat. If I did that just in the center, if you wanted a really quick card, you could literally just add a sentiment and you've got something really pretty. Change the colors of the card so that you've got a mat on there, and let's turn the other side over and look, you've got a beautiful piece on there. So that's the first one. Let's have a look at the second one, because each one will be its own little picture on its own. Look at that, with the lovely cloud and skies. Beautiful. That, just with a sentiment on, would make a fantastic, very simple, quick little card if you're in a hurry. Let's look at the other side. And again, you've got a complete standalone. You would have thought that that was painted just like that. So let's have a look at the next one. This one here, again, beautiful. It's a composition in itself. You wouldn't think that we cut a sheet down. And this is why the papers are so beautiful. And then on this side, again, beautiful composition. You don't need to do anything more to it if you don't want to. And then on this one again, clouds, landscape, and on the other side, you've got the little house on there. So from one sheet, you've got 4 simple, easy cards, if you want to, that you don't need to do anything more to, apart from, you know, pop a sentiment on, or even just make a series of 8 little cards, put them in a box and send them to somebody as a gift, would be fantastic. So the paper packs are just lovely. Now, they are uncoated. It means you can stamp on them, you can change them if you want to, or you can just keep them as they are. There's no sort of rhyme or reason, and we've got extra little pieces here to do something with. So what are we going to do today? I've got to think, haven't I? So that, I really like that to go on a card on its own, I think. I think I will save that one. That's quite a nice one. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to use, so let's do the thought process for this. I want to use one of these solos. Absolutely love the solos. They are, as it sounds, a solo. One stamp on its own. This deer is just absolutely beautiful. And I have, let me find it because here we go. I have already, just to save a little bit of time, I have stamped it in VersaFine Black, which is a fine ink which goes perfectly with our really fine red rubber stamps. And I have just heat embossed it in our black powder. So that's going to be ready. So that's going to be sort of a focal point. As we've got this out, let's do a square card. So I could have it very sort of traditional and have that in there. Not sure. That side might be a bit bright. This one, you see now I've cut them down. I just love the way they're cut down. Now that will be quite nice actually. I might have that one on that side. Or this one on that side maybe. What's the other side like? That's got the lovely trees and things. And again, you could put it either way on. So I think we're going to have either this one or we're going to have that one. And I'm going to save these ones for other cards and things. So let's have a look and see what colours we need to work with if we're doing this. So I quite like the green in there. Now I have got a piece of, this is from, I always save all my scraps and things. This is from one of our kits that we did a while ago, and I've got some scraps left, and you can see that green works perfectly in there. So I need to take that into a different sort of shape on there. Don't like that shape, but I do want to break it up a bit. So I think I'm going to take that and maybe use a, let me have a look and see. I've got my circle dies here. So let's have a look and see if I've got a small circle die. I'm just going to get them out. So we need some small ones, don't we? I could use a punch or something. Let's see what's the biggest one that we can fit on here. Oh, we can fit that one, can't we? Can we get a bigger one than that? I don't think we can. I think that's probably the biggest one that I can get. So I'm literally just going to die cut that piece out. So bear with me 2 seconds. My die cutting machine is literally just off camera because you can't fit everything on there. So let's pop that on there. There we go. So we've now got a little circle, and that matches those colours beautifully. So if I'm going to put him in there, that's better because that keeps him sort of out a little bit. Okay, so we've got this and we've got that and we've got that. Okay, let me put my papers out of the way, then they won't get messy. Now let's have a look and see what we're going to do colours. I've got this card, which is a watercolour card, and is this the right size for this? I don't know. I think it's probably a little bit small, isn't it? So let me have a look and do just a little bit of measuring to see what size we've got. Now I could do it with a tape measure, but I like to do things so that it's a bit precise. So that comes to just under 6 inches. And this one is 5 by 5. So I need another mat, which is going to be 5 and, should we do it 5.5? So that's 5, maybe do it 5 1/4. So let's get that piece sorted, and I want to have that in a green. So I'm just going to have a look through in my card stock that I've got, which is a green colour, and I think probably, let's have a look and see, that green, yes, that green will work, won't it? So let me just take some, I could have it darker actually. What about, I've just seen this one on here which is on the top, that's darker, isn't it? Yes, let's have a dark green for the border because I don't want it too pale. So that is going to be at 5 and, what do we say? That was 5. That's 5 3/4. So I think I'm going to try it at 5.5. I might have to cut it down a little bit, but let's have a little look and see. So we'll take that and we'll cut that at 5.5. 5.5 is that one. So that's one piece. Turn it round and cut that at 5.5. Which is there. Like that. Okay, so that will give us another mat on there, and we can just see that's better. Then that can go in on there. That's nice. That's given a 1/2 inch border on there. Then if we put this on here, that's starting to build up nicely. And then we've got these two pieces here, which are going to build up nicely. You can see how the scene comes together quite well. And as you probably know, having seen a few of my videos, I'm very much a card maker. So I make and send lots of cards to people because I like sending cards. And it's about building up all our products work beautifully, whatever style you've got. So we need to make him look beautiful. We need to do something to the back of here, but I don't want to do too much because I don't want to over egg it, as we say. So let's take those pieces to start off with, and I'm going to do, this is our acrylic mat and it is clotted cream. So I want to do him in the clotted cream. So what I need to do is I need to have a little something to put the colour on. I need a paintbrush. Let's have a look and see what one I've got available at the moment. I'm always using my paintbrushes, so I tend to have them everywhere. So I need to grab some a little bit of paint from here. We don't want a lot, we just want a little bit on here. But this clotted cream is a lovely colour, so I'm just going to take just a little bit of that and put it on. Now I'm using just a tiny bit because you have to excuse my dog making a, somebody's obviously walking down the path, probably the postman. So you can mix it up with water and you can make it quite loose, and I don't want it to be, I want it to be a wash, because I don't want it to be, I just want it to be like a really pale wash to just give a little bit of colour on here. Okay, so I'm just going to just give a bit of colour all the way over the top. I'm just going to avoid where his little eyes are, because we don't need to have them in. Now, because I've embossed it, it's going to be easier to work with, but that's given me some nice colour. Now I just need to go and get a pot and a little bit of tissue, so bear with me again. There we go, it's my little pot of water. And it dries really quickly, but you can, if you want to, you can just sort of dab it a little bit so that it's not quite so uniform. Now that, I think, is all I'm going to do with it. I don't think I want to have any more, because it just gives a hint of colour. Now, I've got this still, so what I wanted to do was, I wanted to just add some something to do a little bit on a background with. So I've got some of this green, which is shepherd's green, which is a really bright, vibrant green. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the clotted cream. Clean my brush off. So I wanted the kitchen roll, so I didn't have it too bright. Little tiny bit of this. I don't want a lot, just want a little bit. And then I can mix that in with this, and it should give me, I might need a little bit more than that. I might have been a little bit stingy. Let's just add a little bit more. These are so concentrated that it's the old thing, isn't it? You can always add more, you can't take it away if you've made it over the top. That's fine, because I just want a sort of a pale green wash to go in the background. So let's just add a little bit of water in here, because again, I don't want it to be too bright. That's nice. So again, it's not, if you look at, this is a piece that I was doing on something earlier, that's the colour, which is very bright, and I didn't want it quite that bright. So using what I've got left of the clotted cream, it gives a more muted colour, which is what I want. Now, I need to just moisten this watercolour card a bit. And then I can literally just want to have a little bit of colour coming through on here. To just give the background. It needs to come to the edges, because you're not going to see much in the centre, because we've got everything else that's going on, which is fine, but I just wanted to have it round the edge. Just give a little bit of a wash of colour. Now, it's habit. I'm going to go across the centre, just in case a little bit peeps through. but I really want to make sure that it's round the edges of this. Okay, so that's what's left on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to pick this up and put this across on here and just give it a bit of a spread across. So I've got as much as I can on here. And in fact, if I just do that, that gives it quite a nice texture looking, doesn't it? That'll do. Okay, now I can clean this off. And I've got some nice sort of texture going on there. Oops, clean that off. This is why I have this, what I call my mucky board. Everybody should have a mucky board that they use just for doing messy paints and things like that. Now I'm going to hold it down in the center because I need to just dry it off. Just give it a quick dry off. Curled a little bit, but it's going to curl up more if I do it that way, but that's fine. And I can turn it that way. I can unroll it. Okay, that's going to give, so that's given a nice bit of just colour on there. And then I'm just going to, it's not completely dry, but that's fine. Okay, so we've got that colour on there. Now what I want to do is I just want to add a little bit of a splatter pattern on there as well. So, and again, I want to keep the green. So I'm going to use some of our Vivids now. And I'm going to put some yellow. And I'm going to put some blue, because that will give us a nice green. So this is, let me just, these are primary blue and primary yellow, which are really good because they mix nicely. Now I just need to make sure that I've cleaned my brush because I couldn't remember whether I did. And I need to take a fan brush. Now I've got different sizes of fan brushes. I'm going to use a large one this time. So let's just mix that up a bit. I think that looks a bit blue actually, doesn't it? Let's put some more yellow in on there. So put some yellow. Just mix that up a bit. That should come a bit more green, I think. Just a little bit of water in on here. That looks a bit more green, doesn't it? Let's have a look and see what that's going to go like. So, oh yes, that's nice. So I'm just doing some splattering in on the top. So you've got these different shades of green coming through, which we've mixed all of them. And that's the thing I like about using the paints, that you can mix things together to get the colour that you want. So this, and I'm doing it quite a lot because I happen to want it to be, to give a nice sort of background. Now I know a lot of it's not going to be seen. That's why I'm trying to get a lot of it round the actual corners, because the corners are the bits that are going to be seen more than anything. There we go. But you can see what a lovely colour that comes up. Now give that a quick wipe in on there and take my tissue and just clean that down. That can go out the way, and then we can just clean this down as well. And I'm going to give it one more quick blast to dry it off a bit. And say if you were doing it, you'd leave it to dry on its own, but I just like to give a little bit of that'll do. Okay, so let's just straighten it out a bit. There we go. Now let's see how we're doing on this. I still need to do something in the edge, so that's going to come there, 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 like that. Now I want to just bring something in on the edge of this piece, so let's put, I could do some stamping, but I don't think I am. I think I'm just going to keep it all with colour, and I want to do something dark around the edge to just sort of bring it all in a bit. Now I'm going to do, and I need a flat one, is that one will do. So I'm going to get a flat brush, and I'm going to get some of our black gesso. I really like the black gesso, and I'm literally just going to take a little bit like that, a little bit off the lid. It's probably a bit much actually, but we can always use it for wiping up on something. So a little bit of water, and then just mix that up a bit. This is lovely because it goes a beautiful, because it's gesso, it goes a lovely matte colour. But I really like it for doing a bit of an edge look. Now, what I'm doing on here is I'm going to take the side of the brush and I'm literally just going to paint it down. Rather than letting it drop, I just like to give this sort of look on the side, and I've become quite, not obsessed with it, but it is becoming quite a favourite sort of technique that I like, and it just brings the edge in together nicely. So I'm just, and you don't have to be overly precise. You want a fairly wide brush because you want that sort of, you know, where you can get the drips in. This makes it so that it's not quite so drippy. It's just a look to it. And then you can look and go, I want a little bit more here, a little bit less there. Just take it round. So I want a little bit more on this bit on here. I want this in darker, and sometimes I just need to put a little bit more water in on here. That's better. So I want some bits that are dark and some bits that aren't. That's better. So it's more sort of over. Just push that there for a second. Right, so we've got all of this left. So again, I don't like wasting anything, and I've got all sorts of little scrappy pieces here. Okay, so that's one here that's got a bit of, I don't know what's on here, but I'm going to add some, because I don't like, as I say, wasting anything. So let's put this in like that, add some more water to it, mix it up. And I'm going to do some splatters on here with this one, which is probably not going to go very well, is it? No, I need to do it with the, let's do it with the fan brush. Fan brushes are brilliant because they look straight away. You just get splats everywhere, which is lovely. And I'm getting a few on this side, but I don't really mind. But you can see how you can just add bits and bobs to things. So I like that. I like little black splats and things. So that I can just leave. So I'm going to put that to one side. I will use the rest of that later, because then I can add some more things. Because as I say, once you've got something going, you might as well use it all up. I'll put that to one side so that can dry. Like that. I need my cloth because I've got bits of black everywhere. And then I need to just dry this piece in on here. So we'll dry it a little bit anyway. And it's only going to be the bits right on the edge that will take the time. And again, if it was you know, you can leave it for a few minutes to just dry naturally. Because I'm trying to do this video for you, I don't want to be spending too much time. Now, it's a little bit damp on one area, but it's not going to be too bad. Okay, so that is now perfect. Now I'm just going to just dab this bit down because it's just a little bit wet, and what I don't want to do is to then get that where I don't want it. Okay, so that's given us just an interesting look. That can then go straight onto there, and you can see even though that is a dark green, it works well with that black to just put it in. So I just need to bend this a bit on here, and then I need to just add some, let's put some grab and go in here. Put that in on the back. Put this round here. I always make sure that I have enough round the edges, because with it being a little bit warped, because we've done quite a bit of water on it, you need to make sure that you've got the edges done nicely. Just clean that bit off on here. Put my little bung up and then clean it off again, and then it'll always work perfectly. Now I think that should be okay. Let's have a look and see. So I want to just take this in so that it comes down. Nice and straight-ish. Now what I can do, or what I tend to do, is to turn it over this way so I can then rub it well on the other side, and what that does is it ensures that the glue sticks, but I'm not getting my hands and everything covered in it. I can take those little bits off like that, but it'll take just a second to take, but once it has, it will have glued on nicely, and it does dry clear. So I've got a bit too much in on that corner, but it doesn't matter that much because I can just literally take my cloth, just clean up that edge a bit. So I'm just holding it while it takes. There we go. A bit there. Okay, so I'm just going to keep just pressing it down. You can see how it's already grabbing, hence the name Grab and Go. So let's pop this in like that. Okay, so we then have, let's have a look at this. This is then going to go onto here like that. Okay, then I want to have this one, and I think I'm going to have it, do I have it centered or do I have it just off? I do have it centered. I'm quite a centered person. And then I'm going to have that just off center a little bit. So let's put this one in. And again, I'm going to use, because I've got it out, I'm going to use the grab and go. Put it on this side. See, beautiful on this side as well, isn't it? It's lovely. Right, I'm just going to put this on here, and then I'm going to take that on there. I want this one on here, so I might as well glue this while I'm at it. Like that. And then I just need to take, if I got a little, that brush will do, I think. Okay, I'm just going to spread this glue so that it goes right into the corners, because I want it to stick nicely. Now I have got some in a little bottle which are really good. These little things are really good, so I use them as well, but I've just put it on here for now because it does, because it's wet. I'm using this glue because then I can just put it on straight away. So let's put this piece in on here, and I want that to come in on the center. Like that. I need to keep pressing it down because it will stick, but it takes a little bit. And I'm going to put this not quite centered. I don't quite want it centered. I want it sort of about there, I think, because sometimes it's quite nice to have a bit of interest where things are just off. Then we've got our lovely deer that can go in like that, and I think I might as I've got this glue out, I'm going to carry on with this glue because it's easier to use, isn't it? Just want to do just a little bit, too much of it. Now you see, I could have used the slap it on, but it just, you can use any of our glues, they work really well. So this grab and go is good for our Medite and 3D projects and things, but if you're trying to put something that is, just put that one in so you can come just in like that. If you're trying to put it onto something that's damp and you're in a hurry like me, you can see now that this has almost, there we go, it's completely stuck down now, and if I'd used any other type of glue it would have lifted up a bit, so that's really good. Sometimes if it is lifting quite a lot, if you put a heavy book on top for a little bit, then that will work. So we're going to put this on here. That will add to the edge of the card, and then all I want to do is I want to find some words of some sort, so let's just put some glue in on here. There we go. I just need to put that in so that that comes nicely on the center like that. we've got that bit. Is that straight? Way glue's sliding around a bit. Should be all right. Let's make sure I stick this on a bit. There we go. And all I want to do is I want to put a sentiment on here now. So there's lots of different ways I can use sentiments, and there's one thing which I like using quite a lot, which is we have, and I've just got to grab it. I've got to see which one it's in. I think it's in that one. No. Must be in on this one. Here we go. This is one of my favourite. I have everything in little things. These are called the Little Book of Journaling Quotes. Now, I've used these so often because they're perfect to just add a little something on a card when you've, and you can see I've used lots and lots and lots of them. So let's have a look and see. Life is about using all of the crayons in a box. Don't want that. Stars can't shine without darkness. That might be quite nice. Always darkness before the dawn. I'm just looking to see what's that. Be here. I quite like that. That's just a little one. Be here right now. And that's quite nice because I'd quite like to be here right now, just in the centre of there. And I think I'm just going to balance it and just put it straight out like that. Now, do I need to cut it down at all? I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to have it as it is, and I'm going to use a little bit of this glue, I think, because I don't think I need to use any of the thicker glue. Let's just put a little bit on here. And these are lovely, these little bottles, because you can fill them up with the glue, and then you've got really precise nozzle to just go in all of the little nooks and crannies to make sure that you've got it done. What you do need to do is to clean that afterwards, which I'm going to do after I've put this down. So I'm going to put that there. Be here right now, up in that corner, and that balances that bottom piece down like that. And then I think I'm just sticking it down because this is still slightly damp. I think that that's probably going to work as it is. I think that that looks quite nice. You've got all the balance. We've got some painting, we've got some papers, we've got some embossing, and have made a pretty little card with different layers and dimensions. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.